Today I'm going to be reading, I'm going to start in Exodus 11. So this part right here, this is where God is leading Israel out of captivity, and he's leading them out of Egypt because they've been slaves, right? It was 400 plus years, right? So God's leading them out of Egypt into the promised land. And this is in the middle where he's striking Egypt with a bunch of plagues. He struck them with so many plagues, and Pharaoh kept saying he was going to let them go, and he never did. So it was plague after plague after plague. And this is the last one. This is the one that did it for Pharaoh. And this is 11. It says, "Now the Lord had said to Moses, I will bring one more plague on Pharaoh in Egypt. After that, he will let you go. He will let you go from here. And when he does, he will drive you out completely. Tell the people that men and women alike are to ask for their neighbors for articles of silver and gold. The Lord made the Egyptians favorably disposed towards the people, and Moses himself was highly regarded in Egypt by the Pharaoh's officials and by the people. So Moses said, this is what the Lord says, and here's the plague. About midnight I will go throughout Egypt. Every firstborn son in Egypt will die, from the firstborn son of the Pharaoh who sits on the throne to the firstborn son of the slave girl who is at her handmill, and all the firstborn of the cattle as well. There will be loud wailing throughout Egypt, worse than there has ever been and ever will be again. But among the Israelites, not a dog will bark at any man or animal. Then you will know that the Lord makes a distinction between Egypt and Israel. All these officials of yours will come to me, bowing down before me, saying, go, and all your people will follow you. After that, I will leave." Then Moses, hot with anger, left Pharaoh. And the Lord said to Moses, "Pharaoh will refuse to listen to you, so that my wonders will be multiplied in Egypt." Moses and Aaron performed all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let the Israelites go out of his country. And at this point, there's a distinction between Egypt and Israel, and it's the same one that is today. It's almost the same distinction of someone who's saved and someone who's still in the world. It could be made the same idea is the same. And so even in the world today, there's still a judgment that God has proclaimed over the world, and it's in Revelation. It's the same. It's the time that we're living in now. But also, God has made a way out. God has provided the Lamb. That's why John the Baptist, when he saw Jesus, he says, "The Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world." He made the way out. He provided the way of salvation. The same way he did it here in the Passover. This is the Passover. This is where Jesus sat down with the disciples, and this is what they were celebrating, the Passover. And it's the same. It's weird because he was also the Passover. He was also the lamb that was sacrificed for the Passover for us. And so the Passover was given as almost like a holiday. You would think like 4th of July, that one day of the year everybody's patriotic and everybody's 100% American and everything, The rest of the year it's whatever. The Passover was a reminder constantly to the people that God had let them out of captivity. He had let them out, and he provided their way of salvation. And so when Jesus was celebrating this, he knew this, and he knew how people were. He knew that the minute that we left church, the world will creep back in, and it will try to creep back in. And as human beings, we get sidetracked, and it's easy to forget about these things, You'll never forget about Jesus, but you will forget the impact that he has in your life. And you will never forget these things, but you will forget how significant it is in every day, every decision you make. It's easy to get caught up in the world. So he left this as a reminder too. When I was thinking it, the Lord's Supper is not a place that you come as a memorial to mourn the dead. It's a place of celebration where you remember that you're saved by grace alone. And if God is for you, then nothing could be against you. And it's the mind that you have to get right. And it was like our sister was talking about, that's the helmet of salvation. Remembering that you're saved not by anything that she did, but by grace alone. And that needs to be your fuel for your everyday and every decision and everything, work, your marriage, your kids, everything. Because it's all trying to grab you by the collar and pull you back into the world, back into captivity, back into Egypt. And God sent his son to die to set you free from that. So I just want to take this time to think about that and be thankful and grateful and take that attitude throughout the whole week, because you're going to need it. You're going to have to remember this, not just today, but through the whole week, because it's really the only thing that's different from the world and the only thing that's going to make you think different. And yeah, after we get it, I'll read Matthew 26, Lord's Supper. And this is before we take the supper. I just want to, Jesus said, "Do this in remembrance of me," and to remember Jesus is to remember what He did for you, and that's something that the world can't take from you. Death. What does the Bible say? The love of God, nothing could separate you from it. Not death, not life, not people, nothing. Power, nothing. There's nothing. And just keep your hope in that. Hope to what's to come, not what used to be or what is right now. Because even when Jesus told him, He said, "I will not drink of the fruit of the vine." That was the wine, right? Grape. "I will not drink of that until I drink it anew in the kingdom of heaven." There's something that we all look forward to, and that's a new heaven and a new earth that's righteous, and God is in it, and He's the king. He's the king over all of it. That's what we look forward to. It says, Matthew 26. It says, "While they were eating, Jesus took the bread, gave thanks, and He broke it, and gave it to His disciples, saying, 'Take and eat, this is my body.' Then He took the cup, gave thanks, and offered it to them, saying, 'Drink from it, all of you. This is the blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will not drink on this fruit of the vine from now until the day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom.'"